everybody, welcome back to PSGL. George Morgan here and Jack Pinnett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Down through the Mercedes teammate. Donoso with a crafty manoeuvre up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Hello everybody and welcome back to PSGL. It is time to run another social race here at Brazil. It is Lobby 2 and we cannot wait to get underway for this one. In the commentary box, my name is Omi. It is absolutely amazing to be back with you for another game cycle. Alongside me for this one is Mackie.
Yes, indeed. Hello everyone. It's been a while since I've last appeared on a PSGL stream due to just a few technical issues that we've had recently. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one, and I believe they're starting very soon, Omi. So, should we go through the driver lineup?
Yep, we are starting very soon indeed. So run us through the driver lineup.
Indeed. It's the driver for Alpine. We've got Ivan Santamaria and Lucas Beisner. We've got Linus Donovan and Giovanni Lazzoni, driver for Aston Martin. Tias Korsman, Daniele Parodi for Ferrari. Keanu Leotard and Valentina Labella driving for Haas, Rihard and Gabriella driving for Kick Sauber, Daniel Yeltsin and Zach Miles for McLaren, Marcel Biega and Istvan Tomasi driving for Mercedes, Piana is driving for Red Bull, Sergio Sabrino and Domi JD driving for VCarb, and then Justin Javelia and Will Witchell are driving for Williams.
Yep, so very, very interesting indeed. We've got a very good lineup here today. And now, right now on your screen, you have got the circuit, 4.3 kilometers, 2.6 miles, and 15 turns for the drivers to navigate. 2 DRS zones that will be delivering us with quite a lot of action for sure. So cannot wait to see that. But first of all, we have to set the grid for the race. And as usual, we're going to have the 18-minute qualifying session to do it. So 18 minutes for the drivers, about 3 runs for them to try set their fastest lap time, and then we'll see what order do they come out in. Now, of course, we do have the drivers heading out there onto the racetrack, so it's going to be exciting to see how the drivers have adapted to this new game, of course, with a bit of a different handling. But we can tell you, luckily, that we do have we of course do have the handling patch coming in tomorrow, so we're gonna have to so all of these drivers are gonna have to adapt all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. They've spent the last week or so since the game came out to just adapt to this current handling model, and then yeah, starting tomorrow, they've got to do it all over again. I mean, I've heard it's changed a decent amount, but some bits have stayed the same, so hopefully it won't take them too long to get used to it.
Yep, hopefully indeed. So we're about to get a few lap times going then, as these drivers get ready to attack this historic racetrack that always does deliver in the way of action. We do not have weather on, so we won't be getting any rain, so it'll be dry. So it will be fully dry today, but this is one of the venues that we really don't need the rain because it's exciting in the dry anyway. Zach Miles is one of the first for you to begin lap. Mackie, do you want to take us through it?
Absolutely. This is Zach Miles now going through turn 1, 2 and 3. Your center S is there. He's going to come out now onto that long straight with that DRS wide open, burning the battery on that car, trying to get a bit of slipstream off that Red Bull that's just exited the pit. Going into turn 4 now. It's a heavy braking zone, drops down to 5th gear, and as you exit the corner, it's a double apex into gear 7 on the exit. You're now going to go through turn 7 and 8 now. You go up the hill and into a very twisty section that we've got that is sector 2 on the Interlagos circuit. You're going to exit now. You're going back up into 5th gear, dropping down a few gears into 3rd gear before accelerating into 4th, 5th, and dropping the speed down enough to get the apex on turn, I think that's 11. You go into turn 12, and it's the same story there, and then it's full acceleration all the way to the end of the lap now. Gear 7, pretty much the highest these cars go, burning all that ERS, and then it's on to across the line. It's going to be a 105.9 there for Zach Miles. Just the first lap, that's very impressive indeed.
First lap for Zach Miles, as you mentioned, a 1 minute 5.9. We have a McLaren 1-2 for the moment, but a big gap between the two of them. All of these drivers just getting used to it. Valentino Labella now slots into second position. Zach Miles, the only driver right now inside the 1 minute 5s as well, but they're all just getting their first few laps in. This track will be ramping up, and so will the lap time. So the first few laps just coming now to us, but it's Zach Miles who has been able to set a great first lap out there, so he's got a good advantage right now, and that's really impressive by him to go out there straight away and get a good lap time in. Now, some drivers, of course, may have practiced more than others, but for this social race, of course, no points are handed out, no stewarding, nothing like that. It's all about just getting better and also providing you with a little more action here at PSGL, plus also testing how the game is. Of course, every new game can have a few little different things, so it's always great to see what's new, what's a little bit different, just so we are aware before we actually get the season underway for real. We had a Haas in second. We've still got a Haas in second because Keanu Littard has now gone to second. Marcel has spun around. He's the driver right now in your picture, but it's Keanu Littard now in second, and it's still Zach Miles though, who is in first.
Absolutely. So now, as we just wait to see, I think we've still got a couple of people out there on a lap now. I think Lucas Baisno is just going to go across the line now, and that's going to be a 106.6, putting that Alpine into 9th place for now. I think that is everyone now finished their first laps, other than Ivan Santamaria, I believe.
Yep, we are still waiting for Tomasi to also begin a lap as well. Few cars still in the pit lane, but as you mentioned, Ivan Santamaria bringing it to the end of the lap. He's still got quite a bit of ERS, as you can see on the steering wheel. We'll see what the Alpine driver can do across the line. A lot more black on the Alpine. It wasn't the best of testings this year, with a lot of carbon liveries being released, and this was the one that definitely got some of the most hate due to it, and it's Ivan Santamaria who manages though to put the car into P12. So the first few laps have come in. Zach Miles, the only driver right now in the 1 minute 5, so that will be the goal for the rest of them, with 12 minutes to go on the clock, 12 minutes and 30 seconds to go on the clock, so that will be the goal for the rest to try and beat. But we saw a lot of improvements. We saw a few shocks as well earlier on in lobby 1 that are currently racing there. They're qualifying earlier on, so we definitely can expect a few shocks and drivers coming out of nowhere to go to the front of the field. And of course, from what we've seen from F1 23, might be a little bit different here on F1 24. Some drivers may have possibly put in a bit more practice. Some drivers may have not bothered, knowing that the handling is going to get changed. So it can all change around from F1 23 to here, and then also when we run our next social race and when we actually get the season underway with the new handling.
Yeah, and of course, to add on to that, you've got the track evolution as well, which is definitely going to come into effect, especially when they start their final laps in the last couple of minutes of the session. Of course, we've got some drivers still on their first lap, and I think some might be going for 2 laps on 1 set of tyres and 1 tank of fuel, which around such a short circuit can definitely work out.
So what can Tomasi do then in the Mercedes car? He is attacking his way all the way through now the final few corners. It's flat to the floor though, all the way from the last braking zone up until the line. We've seen some drag races here in real life and also in the virtual world, and Tomasi manages to get himself up into P10 behind Lucas, and then we also will Richel in P8, Thomas Laminin currently running in P6, of course in the Kick Sauber car, so he'll be looking to try and get that up the order, equal performances as usual, to give all the drivers an equal chance. So we do get stuff like a Haas fighting at the front of the field, and it is great to have your company for the social races, of course, just getting ready for the main season, and it's amazing to be able to enjoy the action already taking place for us, even when we are just a few weeks into the game getting underway. So Zach Miles is out there right now on the circuit, so is Valentino Labella. Keanu Littard right now sitting in the pit lane, but most drivers are going on outlaps and now are attacking for their second run.
Indeed, and Sergio Sabrino as well is going to come across the line now. First hot lap is kind of doing an alternate strategy here in qualifying so far, and that's going to give him a 106.4 as the first lap. But of course, we do have others currently out on the track. Got the likes of Zach Miles. In fact, has entered the pit lane, has bailed on that. guess who wasn't too happy with it?
Wasn't too happy. One man who will be happy though is his teammate. He's been able to go into P3. Marsal also, who was facing the wrong way earlier on in the session, has put the Mercedes up into, or P4, what was P4. Valentino Labella fights back to get ahead of the pair that he was already ahead of, but they had taken it away a few minutes ago. So Valentino Labella fights back to take P3. So an interesting battle going on straight away in this qualifying session, but an aborted run for Zach Miles. Keanu Littard still waiting. He's not going out there on the circuit, so he's going to continue to wait. But we of course saw the lap from Sergio Sabrino, as you mentioned, and we have at the first turn at the center S, we have Giovanni Lanzoni, who has gone off the road in the Aston Martin, so he'll be able to continue on. All okay there for him. Absolutely,
that spin just looked like the rear end decided it didn't want to exist anymore. And spun out. Luckily, had just completed his lap. A slight improvement. Has gone into 12th for now. I think Tias Korsman is currently on a hot lap now. Going around the second sector, that little hairpin. You got nice and tight, nice and slow. And then you hit the acceleration there on the exit. And you're going up into gear 6, down to gear 4 for the next corner. And then you're going full acceleration down the straight. It's got a couple of turns technically in it, but these F1 cars have enough downforce to deal with that. It's fully RS deployment. I don't think this is going to be the improvement that Korsman wants to see. So it's currently 4 seconds off. I wonder if going for 2 laps maybe.
Indeed. So the driver who is in 6th place, still going to be in 6th place. Daniele Parodi and Rihard seems like they're going to try to do a bit of a last to first from the back. So keep an eye on those 2 drivers who are going to try and go on the attack in the race. And of course it is a bit of, and of course it is a social race, so they can have a little bit of fun if they do fancy. So Tias Korsman now, as you mentioned, probably just pushing on at the moment, just now trying to get the lap time in, and I've just realised I didn't put the lap data on. So there you go. That's now up for you, of course. And Korsman still trying to just find an improvement to get himself up into the top 3. The PCF 5 champion from 2 seasons back is up by 0.04 of a second in the second sector. So now you've done all of the hard work. It's all about keeping your foot flat to the floor. There's a car just directly ahead of us as well, who will be giving a bit of a distant tow as he is about to come over the line. Let's see what the Ferrari driver can do. Moves up into P4, so an improvement of time there for Korsman. But Keanu Littard, that's a great lap time for him to go to the front of the field, a session that's so far belonged to Zach Miles. Now, Keanu Littard has taken it away as he's managed to find a lap time around this amazing venue. So it's now Littard who's at the front of the field, but Zach Miles, I believe, has invalidated. So he is going to have to wait once again and then try push on and try take it back away from Keanu Littard with under 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, and you just saw there that Zach Miles, of course, invalidated that lap. That's not exactly what you want to see on your second run. But obviously, we'll still have one more run left to go afterwards, one more pit stop, one more set of tyres. As we see a few drivers now starting a lap, entering the pit lane as well. Everyone's kind of on alternate strategies at this point. Just trying to find someone who's finished a lap. Sergio Sabrino has just started a lap, driving the V-Carb, going through the center S's now. Keep an eye on him, currently in 10th place. A small improvement would move him up several places at this point in the qualifying session. Piana has also it's backed off. Never mind, but did improve at the end of that lap. Currently sat in 13th position, and I think there's a lot of drivers right now who are potentially going to be contending for those front grid spots.
Yep, with the track improving all the time, as I mentioned, so will the lap times. So we'll be seeing constant improvement from these drivers. So that's why, of course, we've got the extraordinary lap by Keanu Littard. Someone, though, definitely will try and take the fight to him and maybe even get ahead of him as well. We're still yet to see the run from Zach Miles, who aborted the second run due to running over the white lines. What can Sergio Sabrino now do in the RB car as he's about to come over the line? and he'll keep it close as possible to the inside, getting the best run, and he'll move up to P5. So that's P5 for the Racing Bulls driver right now, Sergio Sabrino, moving up into P5. But we've got Marcel, who has just demoted him down to 6. So Marcel moves up to P3. So that's a decent lap time there for the Mercedes. So your new top 10 right now is Keanu Litard, Zach Miles, Marcel, Valentino Labella, I should say, Tyus Korsman, and then Sergio Sabrino, Daniel, Thomas Laminin, Gabrielli, and Linus Donovan in P10. So the top 10 looking good right now, but if you are outside the top 10, you'll be trying to find the improvement to try get inside to try get inside that top 10. And also remember, on the final runs we will be seeing a lot of invalidation, so if you can find a lap, then you could find yourself moving up a lot of places.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're gonna have to play for as people start going to the final runs. You want to push the limits, but you also don't want to go over them, so you don't invalidate your lap time. And obviously some of these drivers are going to start getting desperate to try and get higher grid spots. You've got the likes of Sergio Sabrino, Tyus Korsman, and Yeldson, who's just gone into 5th position, who are all so close to those 105s, but not quite there yet. They're going to be really pushing, really stretching those track limits, and we could see just a small mistake end their qualifying session.
4 minutes to go on the clock. We are starting to see some drivers heading out onto out laps. A lot of drivers in the pit lane, of course, getting ready for that one final push where the track is going to be at its best and they're going to have the opportunity to take a step forward. The battle for pole position is going to be exciting. It was, of course, Zach Miles earlier on, then Keanu Litard took it away, but we are going to wait and see whether Zach Miles can respond. We're still yet to see him respond properly to that time, so keep an eye on the McLaren driver in the last few minutes of this session. But keep an eye on anyone, because it could really go anyone's way. We had Julian taking pole earlier on in lobby 1, and we didn't really expect him from the evidence of that session so far, so it can all change around very, very quickly. So keep your eye on anyone. There will be quite a lot of improvements, so the timing page will definitely change around very, very quickly. That's Tomasi coming into the pit lane now. We've got 3 minutes on the clock to go, so it'll be a quick in and out for him.
It looks like the first one who's going to go start that out lap for the final run is going to be Linus Donovan, currently sat in 10th, driving the Aston Martin. It's a 106.4 so far. It's very contested there in the midfield. Of course, we'll be looking to get into the 105s, which 3 drivers have so far achieved in the session. And it looks like we have our pit lane rush happening right about now. 4 drivers in fact, on their outlaps.
So this is not going to be the best of news if your name is Linus Donovan, because he is going to be arriving to that traffic, and while they're all going to try and get out of the way, they're going to do their best job. There will be quite a lot of cars scattered all over the road, and he's about to attack this lap. So I wonder, he is weaving across the line, so maybe he's going for a double push due to that reason.
Especially as the first one out, that could definitely be the case. Take 2 laps to warm the tyres up, make sure they're at their peak operating temperature, get those brakes up to temperature as well, so they actually stop the car. And then you've also got making sure your ERS battery is just completely full. You don't want to lose any of that, especially as you're exiting those final couple of corners, going into that full acceleration straight. You really need full ERS for that. We've got Giovanni Lanzoni as well, who appeared to be on alternate strategy but has backed off from the lap. I wonder if maybe we're going to have to do a push lap after this. I believe he's already done 2 warm-up laps, though.
Yep, indeed, we're riding on board with the kick sab of Thomas Laminin, who is up by 300ths of a second in the first sector, so he'll be looking for a step forward in the second sector. 1 minute and 30 seconds to go on the clock. We've got a bit of traffic ahead right now for the kick saber driver who attacks it through Ferradura.
Absolutely, so going through now, going into sector 2, has got to worry about that V-carb ahead, but V-carb has moved out of the way, so now has the entirety of the track to himself, and he has backed off, indeed.
Yep, so he's decided that he could do better, so he's going to back off and stay in sync with all of the other drivers that are also getting ready to push as well. So the man in P1 is not going to be able to improve his time. He has retired from the session, so it's over to you, Zach Miles, and also Marcel, but keep an eye on everyone else as well. So here we go with Tyus Korsman. Let's see what the Ferrari driver can do as he will send it over the line. And let's see, is it going to be an improvement? No, so he does not improve on his time, and he will not get another push lap, so he'll be vulnerable to other drivers improving behind.
Indeed, I think Marcel Biega has just ended his qualifying session. It's only going to be 3rd for him so far. Yeltsin has also gone 5th. I think that was a 4/10 improvement on that lap time, but not enough to move. I think only moved him up 1 position. You got a few more drivers coming across the line now. Who was that? Who is next across the line? I think that was Tomasi just went across the line. 2/10 improvement, moves up into 11th position. I wonder, in fact, there's enough battery in that car. Could be going again. I wonder if I'm having some timing issues right now.
Here we
Valentino Labella coming across the line now. Looks like it could be an improvement. That's going to be a 5/10 improvement. Goes up into 3rd place.
Great lap time there for Valentino Labella, moving up to 3rd position, of course. Now, the time has run out, so we're just going to see them all coming across the line. We've got a Mercedes making his way towards the line. That's going to be Marcel. So, we've seen Valentino Labella move up to P3. Is Marcel going to be able to respond to that lap time and take it back away? We wait for the Mercedes driver to send it over the line. Can he get himself back into the top 3? He can. So he's back ahead of Valentino Labella, who will now drop down and will not be able to respond to the time. What about Daniel, who is down by 5 thousandths in the 2nd sector? Has he been able to turn that around? No. So he is down even further, and we'll also keep an eye on the other McLaren. No, it seems like he's backed out of it, so Zach Miles will not be able to contend for pole after looking very quick in the early stages of the session. So he'll be 2nd at best. We'll see, do we have anyone else, or is that going to be the end of qualifying?
I think that's our grid.
Yep, it seems like that is our grid. So Keanu Lita did not need a 3rd run. He's been able to secure it on the 2nd run, and that lap time was good enough. Zach Miles not able to find anything at the end either, and it was mostly a battle for 3rd, but it will be Keanu Lita who will start on pole.
Absolutely very impressive lap time. A 1:05.750. And just no one else quite able to contend there. The gap between Zach Miles and Marcel Biega, they're very, very small indeed. And our 4th driver to hit the 105s was Valentino Labella. Going to start on that 2nd row.
Yep, so he'll be starting on the 2nd row alongside Marcel. It'll be Zach Miles though with the inside down towards the center S. Let's see if the house of Keanu Litard will be able to hold him off. We'll confirm our results and then we will have a little word from our amazing sponsors. So here we go then. We'll confirm the results for you. We have Keanu Litard, who will line up on pole alongside Zach Miles, and then it's Marcel in 3rd. The top 3 separated by a 10th of a second. Valentino Labella in 4th, and then we have Daniel in 5th, Tias Korsman in 6th, Sergio Sabrino, Gabrielli in 8th, and then Thomas Laminin in 9th. Justin completing out the top 10, Will Richel in 11th, Linus Donovan, and then we have Piana, Isvan Tomasi, Lucas Giovanni, Ivan Santamaria, Daniele Parodi, and Riyad Spogris. Those 2 did not get a lap time in, so they will be going from the back, and we will be back when we have a word from our sponsors. You join us back trackside as we look down in the pit lane. Soon we will be looking to the 5 red lights and lobby 2 will be underway. So Mackie, can we have some predictions? Who do you think is going to take this one?
Predictions, I mean, we've got a lot of fast drivers on this grid, but I think it's going to definitely be a competition at the front between Zach Miles and I've already forgotten who finished on pole. This is a great start, you know.
Yes, Keanu Lita versus Zach Miles.
It's going to be fun at the front, but I meant to be unbiased as a commentator, but I think Zach Miles might win.
So we'll keep your eye on Zach Miles and let us know your predictions, of course, in the live chat on who do you think is going to be taking the checkered flag first at the end of the 36 laps that we are going to run around this circuit. And we're about to get the first one underway. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And for the social race in Brazil, it's race on with a great getaway for Keanu Litard, who will maintain the lead into turn 1. But Zach Miles has got the inside line, and Zach Miles goes wheel to wheel, but the Haas driver kept his foot in, and he keeps P1 in the race. It's Zach Miles in 2nd, then it's Marcel in 3rd, Valentino Labella in P4, Tyus Korsman still in P5, as they're all trying to pull out of the slipstream and make some moves. Justin is trying to pull out and make a move on the kick cyber of Thomas Laminin, but it's a great start for Keanu Litard at the front of the field. He's got the lead.
Indeed, and it's still got a lot of battles happening in the midfield right now. Will Witchell has just lost, I think, 3 places there. I wonder if got pushed wide just a little bit. We've got contact there for 8th place. Laminen has just made contact with Gabriel Protesi, but we've got currently at the back Daniel Parodi, currently in 18th, making places. So starting at the back, I think that's an Aston Martin just spun.
Linus Donovan going round momentarily, losing a bit of his front wing as well. So we've already had drama on the opening lap of the race. Keanu Lita knows nothing about that though, and that's a moment for Rehards, I believe, who was off the road in the kick Sauber. So he has lost and he was on the grass momentarily. We're right on board with him as we go towards turn number 1. Will Richel and Aaron Santamaria momentarily ghosted inside of each other. We move on to lap number 2, a lap number 2 which will see DRS of course used due to the update in real life with the rules, and that's laid on the brakes. Piana's trying to send it the long way around. He will do so on the Aston Martin of Lanzoni. Cars scattered all over the road, but this is the front of the field, and due to DRS being open on lap number 2, Zach Miles is already moving past and into the lead.
If we just have a quick look now what tyres everyone started on in this Grand Prix, you've got pretty much the tyre grid on the medium tyres apart from Yeltsin, Sabrino and Basner on the hard tyres, and Lazzoni and Parodi on the soft tyres. Of course, you've got Tomasi at the back on the hard tyres as well. Looks like Parodi is really making ground in this race.
So, Parodi managing to slip up the inside there as well. Aaron Santamaria trying to hold off Riyad Spogris, who is going to have to check his mirrors because Will Richel is also trying to put on a little bit of pressure as we are about to make our way down towards the end of this lap. Valentino Labella has dropped down massively, so he's had issues on the opening tour of the race as well, as we will come across the line once again with Zach Miles, your leader, but being chased by Keanu Litard, who has got DRS. Marcel then in 3rd, then a bit of a gap where we have Tyus Korsman 6/10 behind in P4, and you got to keep your eye on the drivers on the softs because Parodi has moved up to P12, so they're going to be the ones trying to attack in this phase of the race where they've got the tyres. That's another change for the lead as Keanu Litard retakes it.
Indeed, that straight there is really, that DRS zone, sorry, is really given the driver in 2nd the biggest advantage. I'm not convinced being in 1st is actually the best place to be in this race right now.
So that will be interesting to keep your eye on the last lap of the race. Right now they're fine switching around, but when we do get to a crucial point of the race where they need to be behind or ahead, that will be crucial. Of course, going on to the last lap, you might want to be the car behind just so you can try make the overtake on the last lap. So that will be interesting. It does depend though if we do get a runaway leader or not in the pit stop phase, but with how this one's going, with how powerful the DRS is, no one is going to be it's going to be tough for the drivers to run away in this one. So your best chance is going to be in the pit stop phase, of course. So we are about to come over the line to begin the 4th lap of this one. Rehards has been able to get past Giovanni. That's another change for the lead. Zach Miles retakes it in the McLaren as we come over the line once again. Daniele Parodi on the softs. Not close enough to have an attack for P10. That currently belongs to Lucas, but they're all just right now in a bit of a waiting phase. But here we go. Once again, another change for the lead. So this is just going to be constant battling down to turn 1 and to turn 4.
Exactly, it's going to stay exactly like that until someone makes a mistake, which, considering the skill of all of these drivers, I find very unlikely to happen. Of course, you've got 3rd place. It looks like Korsman is looking slightly faster than Biega right now, and could be going for a move in the next few turns or next couple of laps at least. Other battles you've got going on the circuit right now, you've got Sergio Laminen in front, who's also chasing Gabriele. So we could see another battle brewing there, and it looks like Donovan's lost several places. Has he spun?
So Donovan going slowly there. So he's lost out and is heading all the way to the back. Zach Miles retaking the lead of this one. Keep your eye on Daniel, who was very close to Tyus Korsman, but we're going to look further back because we're going to get Thomas Laminin to the inside and taking P6. He is fighting with Gabriele, who is also on the medium compound of tyres, so that's a switch between those two drivers. But yeah, a bit of a weird moment there for Linus Donovan that sees him drop down to 18. So to the back of this train, Valentino Labella still trying to do a bit of a fight back in this one and still trying to recover after the moment that he had in the opening laps.
And that's going to be Parodi down the inside of Basner, but we'll have the outside line. Actually, no, Basner has backed off, so had the racing line there through that set of corners. But we also noticed this lap is the first time the lead hasn't switched in a DRS zone since the start of the Grand Prix.
Yep, indeed. If they are close enough, then they will go for it. of course, but no point risking at this phase of the race. No point risking contact at all. Thomas Laminin is the first driver to earn a penalty, as you can see, right next to the gap. The gaps between the drivers. So Thomas Laminin, the Kick Sauber driver, who is looking now to try attack the drivers ahead. We have Daniel on the back of T.S. Korsman as we go down to the first turn of this racetrack. Keep your eye on Sergio Sabrino. He's looking close as well to go on the attack of Gabrielli, who has just been passed earlier on by Thomas Laminin. Now will be coming under pressure by the RB car of Sergio Sabrino. So it's going to be the sister team is of course trying to attack the main Red Bull team.
Absolutely. So now, as we just wait to see another lap now, Zach Miles has a is going to keep the lead. It looks like Keanu's just not looking to overtake just yet. Maybe just thinking about the longevity of this race, those tyres, not pushing the car too hard, despite the fact it could definitely go past. Sabrino looking down the inside, not quite there, not quite close enough. I do wonder if the hard tyres now are starting to come into their own, as Sabrino is looking faster than he has been.
Daniel also looking good. He's another driver on the hard compound of tyres. He's been following the Ferrari of Tyres Korsman very, very closely as well. Is there going to be a run for Sergio Sabrino down to turn number 1? Doesn't seem like it. There will be a run though for Keanu Litzard, the Haas back into the race lead of this one, and I think Daniele Parodi is attempting something. Yep, he is, to take P9. He takes it away from Justin, so Justin has been passed there down to the center S, and it seems like Justin is going to now settle for P10 and not try and fight back. One man who will fight back is now your new race leader, Zach Miles, taking it back. So of course no DRS for your leader, allowing the man in second to have an attack and go through. Oh, very close here, as that is going to be Will Vichel be right on board, momentarily boxed, and now he's got a gap. Is he going to is he prepared to risk it? Into Ferradura, trying to sweep around the outside. He's trying to get past Ivan Santamaria, who is going to hold on to the position, and Will Vichel had to switch. He had a look at the inside, wasn't able to get through either, so it's Ivan Santamaria in 14th, Will Vichel in 15th, and then we have Giovanni, but for how much longer? In 16th, because now, with the late send, he is moving up to 15th place, and he's going to keep his foot flat to the floor, but it seems like Will Vichel is going to get there first, and this has also allowed the hard runner of Tomasi to get onto the back of this, as Giovanni is holding onto the car on the exit.
Indeed, and at the front, it looks like Gianni's going to hold off, but going back to that battle in the midfield, we've got almost 3 wide going to turn 1. We have got a 2 wide battle going on. It looks like Tomasi is going to come off better, but the Aston Martin's ahead, goes a little bit deep. Around the outside now goes Massey, and it's not quite going to work out as Lazzoni's teammate of Donovan goes around the outside there, and it's going to be 2 wide, and now they all separate out. They go single file into turn 4.
And they behave again in this one. Back to single file stuff as we go toward Ferradura, but an exciting lap of battling for the drivers much more further down, trying to recover in this one after a bit of a poor qualifying. Talking about a man recovering, Valentino Labella's got the gap down to 6.5, so he's just going to have to try and continue on the attack, but it will be a hard race for the Haas driver. From here, much more easier for his teammate, who is 6/10 away, but with the DRS will be closing in all the way. Now, there could be an opportunity for Daniel, who's been very close to the rear wing of the Ferrari car, and we could finally see a change in this battle for P4. Korsman will go to the middle, but going to the inside will be the McLaren, and is he going to be able to take it? He won't be able to go around the outside, and it seems like Korsman's also been able to get close to Marcel, so this could be an interesting battle. Who is going to pull out? It seems like it's going to be Daniel going to the inside towards turn number 4. Will Korsman choose to fight this one? Can he fight this one? Nope. Daniel on the hard compound of tyres manages to get to the apex first and manages to get through, and also Sergio Sabrino also moving up to P7.
Absolutely, that was a brilliant move there, but Korsman is still got to be worrying about him. He's right at the back there, but he has not got to worry about Laminin, who's not that far behind. There's definitely pressure him through the last few turns. Another battle you got right now is Parodi, who is looks to be doing potentially a last to first challenge. He's currently managed to get it up to 9th so far, and is definitely looking faster than Gabrielli right now, and could be making a move in the DRS zone. But of course, that Red Bull should have DRS. I'm not sure if we haven't been through detection point, but will have DRS just about on the sister V-carb ahead.
Leotard retaking the lead.
That's a change for the lead as well.
Indeed. So Laminin getting past Korsman. So that's one Ferrari losing a place. The other Ferrari further down, going to the inside, and these two teams battling a lot in real life currently, and we have an exciting battle between those two. In esports we always have a battle between every single team here in PSGL. Let's see, can Gabriele try fight back? Can he go to the inside? He can, and he's now going to try and run his rival out of road. Daniele Parodi running out wide, and we're about to go side by side up the hill towards Ferradura. Nothing between the two of them, and it seems like he's going to keep his foot in. Will they both be able to continue going? Gabriele's wide, and that will open the door for Justin and Lucas, who get past the Red Bull driver, and Parodi now in 8th, but has got a 1.7 seconds ahead, so he'll be vulnerable down the start finish straight to an attack, as he will not have DRS.
Indeed, that DRS so powerful so far in this game from what I've been able to see. The slipstream as well, just being able to sit in someone's draft is exactly what you want to be doing. Looks like Yeltsin is potentially going to go for a move now on Marcel Biega. It's going to be very close. The McLaren right up alongside. Zach Miles goes into the lead. Both McLaren's going to make a move here into turn 1. They are indeed, and that's going to be 3rd place now for Daniel Yeltsin as we go through the center S's single file, and it's also looking like Parodi's potentially had a spin. No, sorry, he's Pep.
Yep, so Parodi into the pit lane, Linus Donovan also in as well. But yeah, great lap for McLaren. Daniel into 3rd, Zach Miles into the race lead. Nothing separating your top 4 as we go to Ferradura. But yes, we have seen we've seen some pit stops come in for the 2 drivers who have put on hards, Daniele Parodi and Linus Donovan. So that's the reason why those 2 are dropping down the order. So they're going to try and get a bit of clean air in this one and try push on and get a bit of an undercut.
I think they were the soft runners previously, so they've just got rid of their tyres now. Now should be going to the hard tyre to the end of the race, assuming we don't have any safety cars. So right now, the race is going to sort of equal itself out a little bit, as I just see Santa Maria have a little bit of a moment, which has been able to be recovered. No damage to the car, but here the lead of the race might be changing once again. Keanu now going into turn 1. It's going to be ahead of Zach Miles, but Zach Miles, of course, will have the DRS going down into the 2nd DRS zone. Should be able to make the place back, but has his own teammate now to worry about behind him. And Korsman now going around the outside of the end of the center S's. That's just going to be ahead now for the Ferrari driver of Sergio Sabrino.
Having to go on the defensive there for TS Korsman. Sergio Sabrino trying to slip through, but TS Korsman was just able to hold on to that. We are on lap number 12 of this one. We've seen more cars diving into the pit lane. So we have had Rihard, who's gone onto the set of softs. We have Piana and Giovanni also in as well. But yes, a late safety car could completely change up this one, as as you mentioned just now. Safety car could completely change it up if we do get a late one where everyone goes onto soft. So that can make the race very exciting and a bit of a grandstand finish all the way till the end.
Yeah, of course, you've got the likes of Valentino Labella, who had an awful first lap, getting having a spin in the final few corners of lap 1. Both McLarens now are going to go for an inside move on Keanu, and it's looking like it's going to be a McLaren 1-2 going into lap 13. It is indeed a little bit of contact between the Haas and Yeltsin, but everyone is still on the road. No damage, I don't think, to anyone's car, but it's now going to be McLaren 1 and 2 with the Haas of Keanu Leotard, but just behind. But it's looking like down the inside is going to go Yeltsin, just about able to hold off the Haas.
So, great stuff there. The 2 McLarens now 1 and 2 in this race. Leotard trying to be brave as we go to Ferradura. And if any of you did watch the PSGL F4 race around this venue last season, you would have seen that Keanu Leotard, the man we are on board with, made an absolutely fantastic move in a race that saw 4 wide into turn 1, had safety cars, had late wet drama, had literally everything and all sorts of chaos. Is all I can say. But it was a great move by Keanu Leotard, move of the season in my opinion. So he will be one to watch. He's a driver who can come alive around this venue. And now he's going to have to come alive against two McLaren drivers. It's Zach Miles ahead of his teammate, but Daniel might be about to become our third race leader today. Keep your eye though on Keanu Littard also trying to get through as well. So into the race lead goes Daniel, and now let's see, can Keanu Littard keep his foot in? He'll always be shown the curb on the exit. Now the question is, can he fight back as we go towards turn 4? He is in the slipstream and getting closer and closer, but won't be close enough as we will hit the brakes. So now your new order is going to be still a McLaren 1-2, but it's now Daniel on the hards who is ahead of his teammate Zach Miles, and Keanu Littard still waiting for an opportunity in third. Rehards on the soft sets the fastest lap of the race, and that is Tuomas Laminin getting past Marcel Wilverchel. Has retired from the race, but Laminin able to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we've seen now the problem that Littard has in this race is he's now behind two McLarens. The car in front now has a DRS, and it actually looks like Yeltsin might be one of the fastest drivers on track, and those 13-lap old hard tyres might be in their best operating window.
So we're about to come over the line once again then, and keep your eye on Sergio Sabrino. He'll once again try go on the attack of TS Korsman. Marcel has come into the pit lane. Bit more room for these guys ahead now, but who is going to be in 5th? Sergio Sabrino late on the brakes into the center S on the hard compound of tyres. Will get past TS Korsman. He's been trying that for a while. He's finally got there. So Sergio Sabrino able to improve his position. There will not be a fight back by Korsman. He's not got enough speed, and he's not using the ERS too much to try and fight that one. So Sergio Sabrino able to get through. Linus Donovan has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings appearing right at the top of the screen there. So he has got a penalty. Of course, the driver in 4th also does have a penalty for that.
Of course, track limits here, a very big issue. Certainly got some corners where the driving line makes you want to extend those track limits. You just got to slow the car down ever so slightly more just to make sure you stay with at least 2 wheels inside the white line. But of course, we've got a few battles happening still out on track. Kick Sauber driver Laminin is currently looking for a move on Littard, who's been potentially having a couple of issues, but actually dives into the pit lane instead. Decided those medium tyres aren't the tyre anymore.
Yep, so he is into the pit lane. Once again, we'll try get a bit of an undercut. Here is Daniele Parodi has got past Valentino Labella, who was hoping to be in that fight for that race victory today, but instead he's on a recovery drive and he's been passed already by a few drivers that have come into the pit lane as well. So let's see where Laminin will rejoin in this fight. Of course, while we have the fighting going on at the front, we've got some fighting between all of these drivers who have made their pit stops, and Rehards right now this stage of the race will be going very, very quickly indeed. So Marcel is going to be ahead. It's still going to be Daniele Parodi who has got the net race lead right now in this order. We've got Linus Donovan, who is retired in the pit lane. And then we have Marcel, and Tuomas Laminin is rejoined directly behind Marcel, who is going to be coming up to a bit of a traffic of Valentino Labella. So he's going to try clear the Haas driver as soon as possible, as we see Piano doing exactly that, clearing a bit of traffic and moving up to P14.
Yeah, of course, the top 8 are still yet to pit in this Grand Prix. Which is an interesting strategy, of course, especially for the few medium runners that's still there. These hard runners will, of course, be extending out just a few more laps, making full use of the hard tyre, which obviously it gets better as the laps go on to a certain extent. They'll probably be pitting in the next, I'd say, 8 or so laps. They've got a few more position changes happening as more pit stops come through. Looks like the lead of the race isn't quite going to change there, and we have a ghosted Aston Martin on track. I think that is Donovan, who has retired.
Yeah, so the game still drives them out when they have retired, and then we'll just remove the car, but we will not need an interruption like a safety car or virtual safety car for that one. Here is TS Korsman, and he has got Rehards now. He's got the tyres warmed up. So he's got the tyres warmed up, the soft compound of tyres right now, 5 laps old for him. TS Korsman rejoining of the hards that are right now 0. So he's going to try close the gap in on Tuomas Laminin, who will be the car ahead. Valentino Labella did pit, so it meant that Marcel did not have to clear that bit of traffic. So it's just going to be a battle between those two right now, and Daniele Parodi with much more older tyres compared to Marcel and Laminin. So they're just basically going to try and wait for Parodi's tyres to go, and they will naturally just be gaining anyway, and it's only 1.2 seconds separating those two. Rehards did have those sides up to temperature, wasn't able to do anything with that though, and Keanu Litard's got a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now we learned that of course in the social races last week that it's now 10 seconds, so much more of a punishment. It's double the punishment of what was given in F1 23.
Indeed, it really gives drivers incentive to spend some time practicing their pit entry, because of course you don't want to be exceeding that time limit in these types of races where the gaps are so close. That 10-second penalty can absolutely screw you over and potentially end your race unless you find a way to serve it.
Yep, indeed, and that would mostly be during safety cars, of course. But with how close the field is in league racing, it can be very hard, especially when you've got such competitive drivers. It's going to get even closer between them, because most of the field, when we do get, of course, the season going, everyone will be in tiers. They'll all be separated by basically nothing. You'll of course have those drivers who are always fighting at the top, who may always have that little edge, but it's always close in the mid-pack, so penalties like that will be very costly. And we do get DRS trains right at the end, going down all the way to 10th, sometimes 14th, sometimes even the whole grid, so especially at the start of the race, so they can all be very costly indeed. So you do need to try and get your pit lane.
And sorry to interrupt, but down the inside goes Marcel Biega on the straight. That DRS wide open, goes into turn 1 ahead, and in fact it's the fastest lap there. Those fresh hard tyres are clearly working on that Mercedes car, and in fact he might even be closing the gap now, and making this undercut work from the medium tyre to the hard runners in front.
Indeed, so Marcel able to get through it, and he has moved up to P5 right now. So he's got past Daniele Parodi, who soon will be dispatched by Laminin as well, surely, and Laminin will need to get the move done, stick with Marcel, so that's going to be crucial for his race. We've also got Zach Miles on the back of this, so is Keanu Litard, who's got a penalty. Korsman just trying to push even further to try and join this party. So we've got an interesting battle going on, and we're going to definitely have battles down to turn number 1. We have Giovanni getting a 3-second time penalty, the driver second in the field right now. Sergio Sabrino is into the pit lane, so Sabrino is into the pits, and he will go on to the set of the medium compound of tyres. He started the race on the hards, he's had some good pace on it, and he will be moving on to the mediums.
Absolutely, and now the only two drivers left to pit in this Grand Prix, it's going to be Daniel Yeltsin and Lucas Baesner, driving the McLaren and Alpine respectively. They're currently got huge gaps between each other. They'll just be waiting maybe 1, maybe 2 more laps before they decide to pit onto a set of medium tyres. It's going to be a penalty for Lazzoni, 10 seconds for speed in the pit lane, retires off of that. Unfortunate there for both Aston Martin drivers, who are now both out of this Grand Prix.
Yep, those two battling earlier on in the race, both of those retiring, so you'll see that yellow flag in the first sector for a bit, so do not worry about that at all. That'll just be the car being put back on the circuit and then just disappearing for us. Someone disappearing from the racetrack is Daniel. He's into the pit lane though, so he'll be back out there very shortly. Now let's see if Laminin can attack Parodi, who did very well to actually stick with Marcel, but so that hasn't meant that Laminin has had a chance to overtake, not wanting to use too much of the battery. Over the line we go, down to turn number 1 we go, and the battle that was the net battle for the lead now is actually the battle, if we look at the leaderboard, for the race lead as well. Keep your eye on Zach Miles, he could be getting interested for a place right now as it stands on the rostrum. We are on lap number 21, so let's see if Zach Miles can now try go on the attack. If Laminin can't find a way to on Parodi, Zach Miles might get a bit impatient and might try and make the move, but Parodi doing very well though to stick with Marcel, so it's a less issue than it would have been, but they're now all trying to dive to the inside and trying to catch their rivals out.
Indeed, and now as we continue to watch now, this battle's really going to heat up. This is for the actual lead of the race. Everyone in this group has pit at some point in this Grand Prix. Daniel Parodi, of course, the first one to do that. And then Biega on 6-lap old hard tyres. Won't quite have the pace. But obviously, the driver you really need to watch now is Daniel Yeltsin, who is currently in 7th place. Fresh medium tyres. They're gonna have a pace advantage over these hard tyres in just a couple of laps' time.
So once again, lap number 22 to turn 1 we go. Fastest lap of the race belonging to Sergio Sabrino, who has got Daniel ahead, and he's got a 1 lap fresher tyre as well. So those two will be pushing on. So they're going to also, so it's not only this battle, they're going to have to contend with Sergio Sabrino and Daniel, who you've just seen in the background. And that's Daniel getting past TS Korsman. So that's so they'll now be dispatching past some of these hard runners as well. So we'll continue on right now at this stage, and Sabrina will try find a way through. So keep an eye on those two drivers. They'll be arriving on the scene very, very shortly, while these drivers at the front of the field continue to duel it out. But yes, let's see now. Can Zach Miles make the move? No, he's into the back of Thomas Laminin. Was trying to make a late send to the inside. Instead, though, he's into the back of the Kickstarter driver, and he's damaged his front wing.
It does indeed look that way. There's going to be damage now on that McLaren. You can already see it's significantly slowed down. That right end plate has left the car. It's going to give Keanu now a brilliant opportunity to go into 4th position in this Grand Prix. It's going to help Yeltsin as well catch up the rest, and they go 3 wide into turn 1. Who's come out best? Laminin into 4th position. Zach Miles now really going to be struggling to bring that McLaren home with that end plate damage.
Not what Zach Miles wanted it at all there. And Thomas Laminin, who, as we've seen Sergio Sabrino also get past Korsman, with Thomas Laminin put under pressure. Sergio Sabrino's been given a penalty, so that will also be crucial when we get to the end of the race. So when we get to the business end of the race, keep an eye on that. So that will be crucial if he does fight his way to the front of the field. It could really be going Daniel's way then, who will be on the attacking, charging, medium compound there. But Zach Miles getting a bit impatient, trying as soon as possible to get the move done, because he wants to get himself past Daniele Peroni. He wants to get himself back into the battle that he was in earlier on, which was for first position, constantly switching, and that's the place you really want to be when we head on to the 36th and last tour, 2nd or 1st. So he's just trying to improve a few places, and instead it was into the back of Laminin. So Zach Miles trying to catch his rival out with a late send on the brakes, but unfortunately into the back there. So he's still continuing on. He's 4/10 of a second right now away. He's going to have his teammate right now for the social race arriving on the scene as well. And we currently had yellow flags momentarily, but it's back to green now.
Yeah, those yellow flags are because Labella had spun in sector 2, was facing the wrong way. Unfortunately for the Haas driver, it's really not been a great evening. But further up, the other Haas driver is having a great race so far. Currently on 6 up-old hard tyres, just a few tenths behind Thomas Laminin right now, and will be looking to make a move shortly, but he's got to worry about the cars in front as well. And Zach Miles behind with his teammate of Daniel Yeltsin on the fresher tyres.
So once again, we are currently making our way through with Marcel, the race leader. Let's see, is Laminin going to be able to get close enough for a move this time around? It's going to be the two McLarens going side by side as we go through the start-finish straight. Not even a contest way before we get to the braking zone. It is Daniel who is moving past Zach Miles, understandably not choosing to fight that one due to the damage that he's got. And it will be a bit of a disappointing race that looked promising from the start for him. Further down the order, we have got some battling. We've nearly got a bit more contact. That was Justin who was being passed by Lucas. Justin trying to fight back though, nearly into the back of the Alpine car. Now arriving on the scene is going to be Gabrielli in the Red Bull. So can he try and shape for a move? Doesn't look like that will be the case. So they're all continuing on. Keep an eye on Sergio Sabrino, who is going for it to the inside of Zach Miles. Zach Miles trying to shut the door late, and it was nearly a repeat of what Zach Miles did, but this time it was going to be done to Zach Miles. Sergio Sabrino trying to still outbrake his rival, and Zach Miles will be forced a little bit wide, and we're about to continue going wheel to wheel. Valentino Labella is another retirement from this race, and Zach Miles was able to stay ahead as we go down to the last braking zone, but he'll be under massive pressure as we go down the straight. Tyres Korsman has been brought back into this one as well, so this is about to get really, really exciting as we head towards the center rest. Keep your eye also on Daniel, who will be looking to go in the attack, so we'll have quite a bit of battling down towards turn 1. And are we going to be seeing Sergio Sabrino pull out and dive to the inside? We will. So Sergio Sabrino moves up to 6. And at the same time, that's Keanu Leotard and Daniel both battling, nothing between the two of them. And it seems like Daniel is starting his charge on the medium compound of tires in this leading train. He's getting to the inside. Leotard knows that he will not be able to fight that one, and instead he backs out of it to not risk contact. Korsman past Sergio Sabrino, past Zach Miles, who nearly made contact, and Sergio Sabrino is off the road. So it's getting really close on the circuit between these drivers.
Indeed, and now as we just wait to see now, Leotard is trying to come back on it, Yeltsin, but I don't think it's quite going to work. That McLaren has so much more grip through these corners on those medium tyres than those on the hard tyres. You could just tell by the way he's staying on the back of Laminum right now that car is just absolutely working for him right now. This will be an intense battle for the lead. Is Marcel Biega or Daniele Parodi going to be able to keep a hold of it, or is Daniel Yeltsin going to be able to get up there in front on those fresh tyres? But obviously you've got to watch the other battles as well. There's I think it's still at least 6 of them potentially in contention for, maybe even 7 in contention for the win right now.
We promised you action, we have got it, and it's going all the way from the start all the way to the final stages of this one. We are on the 27th lap out of 36, and it's going to be exciting from here all the way till the end. We're going to continue to see Daniel, the driver in your picture right now, on the charge, continuing to make overtakes. We have got Tomasi with a 3-second time penalty there. So Tomasi, who currently runs in 13th place. So the driver in last was Rihard, who of course went on to the soft compound of tyres, and of course that wasn't going to make it way all the way till the end with good pace, so he had to dive it in. And it's been a bit of a recovery drive from there, which is of course very hard with how competitive everyone is. So they're all continuing as we go on to the straight. Now, are we going to be seeing any other moves this time around? Keep your eye on Daniel in the McLaren, and also keep your eye on Thomas Laminin in the Kick Sauber as we go closer and closer to the braking zone. And that could be an opportunity for the Kick Sauber, who will go to the outside line, and this could get very close. 3-1 for the lead momentarily, and Daniele Parodi finds a way through. That is close to contact, and he's all over the cap. He's trying to find a way through. They're off the road. They're off the road and into the lead. Marcel is out of the race. Daniel is into the lead. Their safety car is out, and it all explodes as they battle away for the lead. Contact between the top 3.
Indeed, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It looked like tried to go down the inside of one car, but the outside of the other one got sandwiched going through the corner, and then on the exit of turn 3 it just looked like it wasn't working, and everyone just got sort of dragged to the side. And unfortunately for Marcel, that is going to be a retirement from this Grand Prix, and the safety car is called on lap 28 of 36. It's all kicked off, and Yeltsin now is going to be able to save some of the life in those medium tyres. And this could be, this could just be the correct place that McLaren needs to be in to win the Grand Prix.
Yeah, those 3 cars caused too much chaos that my game started freezing momentarily. You would have also catched that on the stream there as well. So all sorts of chaos being caused by those 3. Kind of realistic though, with the camera in real life. It would momentarily freeze and stuff like that, depending on the angles. But Marcel out of the race, that will be a disappointment for him. Now, this is when the race gets interesting.
Into the pit lane.
Yes, this is when the race gets interesting. We mentioned it earlier on. If we did get a late safety car, everyone will be pitting for the softs.
Yeah, indeed. But Laminin has decided to not go into the pit lane. Has decided to stay out on track. He's carrying that 3-second penalty, which, considering it's going to be a safety car restart, exactly what you want to have to your name. I think everyone else, though, is going to pit for some soft tyres. I think Laminin's made a strategic error not pitting.
He is going to be vulnerable for sure. So that is not what Laminin wants at all. Maybe he might pit later on. He probably will be, because he will be a sitting duck and maybe have a few laps fresher tyres and will have to really go on the attack. But this is about to get exciting. Everyone basically equal, and Daniel is already having a very great moment on this game with seeing the top 3 just run straight off the road, letting him go through on the inside with no trouble. So that is great stuff for him there. So Zach Miles right now in 6th, Parodi in 7th. Go on.
Yeah, and absolutely something else to mention. That's given Zach Miles the opportunity to repair the front wing damage that he had on his car, and he hasn't lost too much because of it. He's only lost a place to Sergio Sabrino.
So that is crucial as well for Zach Miles. He's back in contention, and if there is something chaotic like that, then we're going to be getting something similar where we could get a bit of a fight back for Zach Miles. They're all going to be getting impatient though. Once again, the same thing. We're going to get the same story though. They're all going to be getting impatient. They're all going to be using a lot of the ERS. We'll have to see a few dive bombs. If you have got more pace, everyone's mostly equal, other than Thomas Laminin who's continuing on, but everyone else will be equal. So you're trying to make as much as places, especially if you're like Zach Miles or Daniele Parodi. You're going to be trying to really improve. If you want to have any chance of victory, you've got to try and get yourself as close as possible to the front of the field before we get onto the last lap. But also, you're going to have to try to save a bit of the ERS, so we could be getting some of the dive bombs that we see in the second sector.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're just going to wait for the safety car to... it looks like everyone might punch that by the end of this lap. We could have a very quick safety car restart for lap 31. We've got 6 laps of hard racing to determine who's going to win this race. Leading us off will be Thomas Laminin, who is on used hard tyres. It's definitely a huge disadvantage to Daniel Yeltsin and Tios Korsman behind, who are on fresh soft tyres. I'm not exactly sure what the Kick Sauber driver was thinking. Having not made a pit stop, maybe decided the track position was worth it more, but considering how fast Daniel's been and how well he's been overtaken, I'm not convinced it's going to be a great restart.
So we now await to see whether the safety car is coming in. It is going to be coming in at the end of this lap, so it will be over to Thomas Laminin, who will be your leader coming out of the last few turns. The question is though, will he be able to hold it when we do get down to the center S, because everyone else is on softs, and we've also got Piana on the mediums, who is right at the back. We have seen 6 retirements in this race, and we have 13 drivers remaining, all about to do battle in the final stages of this one to take victory in the social race here at Brazil in Lobby 2. We're about to start lap number 31. Thomas Laminin on the hards, everyone else on the softs, with Piana also on the mediums. When does the Kick Sauber take us back to green flag racing conditions? He's got his foot flat to the floor as we go racing once again, and he's already going to be under pressure by the McLaren of Daniel, who will surely go to the inside line. He's being squeezed all the way though. He's going to have to back out of it. This time he'll now have to try and turn the outside to the inside. He'll back out of that one as well, and that could leave him vulnerable to Tyus Korsman, who's trying to get through on the inside. Close to contact between Sabrino and Keanu Litard, who are also battling their way through, and it's Daniel who is trying to defend from Korsman while also trying to attack Thomas Laminin. Will he be able to go round the outside of turn number 4? He'll get pushed off the road. It's very close, and Thomas Laminin really trying to defend this, and Korsman's also going to wait for his opportunity. We're heading down to Ferradura with the top 2 not giving each other an inch, and Thomas Laminin still holding the lead, but still Daniel trying to send it a long way around. This time though, he's getting to the apex first. This time he's got the inside line, and this time finally he can say that he's got the lead.
My audio has bugged. This is
Not the best then for you, so hopefully you'll be able to get that sorted, especially when the race is getting so exciting right now. We have got Daniel in P1. We have Tyus Korsman in second, and Thomas Laminin is going to be passed by Sergio Sabrino. He's going to get through on the inside, and he's got a penalty due to that one as well. So no stewarding, of course, in this one. Laminin is going to try fight back. Tyus Korsman is trying to fight for the lead as well. So this is about to get really, really exciting in the final stages of this one. And keep your eye on Daniele Parodi. He'll be now trying to attack Keanu Litard, and will he be able to shape for a move to the inside? What about the top 2? Korsman still thinking about it. Tyus Korsman, PCF 5 champion from a few seasons ago, had a good game cycle on F1 23, trying to have an even better one here in F1 24, and that's going to be Keanu Litard, who is diving to the inside. Was having a look around the outside of Ferradura, instead though switching it to the inside further on the lap, and he's been able to get through when it turns into traction race. Will obviously be won by the driver on the soft cut, but outside that is going to get very close. 3 wide as Daniele Parodi puts a nose in there, not expecting Keanu Lita to be in there, and there's still 3 wide. Nothing between them here at Brazil, and it's Lita ahead. And now who is going to be in 5th? Parodi trying to send it a long way around. He'll be pushed onto the curb there, but now he'll get the power down onto the start-finish straight. Zach Miles will also go on the attack as well. We're about to begin. Lap number 33. Zach Miles is getting through. Thomas Laminin has lost out, and now Daniele Parodi, who was having a look to try and go on the attack of Keanu Lita, had to back out of it, and that's allowed Zach Miles to take P5. And Mackie, have you got your audio sorted yet?
I do believe everything is working once again, so we're going to watch now. It's going to be 3 wide once again down the straight. It's going to be Parodi going up in. Leotard's just been able to manage to keep on to 4th, at least for now. It's getting very close at the back of this front group, but for the lead of the race, Yeltsin still in the lead, but it's going to be Sabrino in 3rd, is really pressuring Tia's behind, but it's going to be Parodi trying to make the move for 4th position. It's going down the inside of the Haas driver. It's going to be a good exit for the front, but is it going to be enough going into the corner? Tries to cut for the racing line, but down the inside is Keanu, but the Parodi will get 4th position after that battle. Very intense racing here in the final few laps of this Brazilian Grand Prix.
Well, we said if there was going to be a safety car, everyone would put on soft. It would be exciting and it would be an amazing grandstand finish. That is exactly what you have currently, and it's exactly what you're witnessing. Are we about to see the change for the lead? And it might be a 3-wide moment because Sergio Sabrino tries to get past the pair, and Sergio Sabrino gets his foot flat to the floor. Bit of contact between Sabrino and Korsman, and it's going to be Sabrino who moves up. Justin has retired from the race as well as we go down the straight once again. Still nothing between them. Korsman trying to get back past Sergio Sabrino, who has now put himself in 2nd place. But remember, Sabrino does have a penalty, so that could be costly for him, as Piana's also given a penalty. So Korsman does have to try and move up, and Keanu Lita darting all over the road to try and get past Daniele Parodi.
It's getting very tight here as they start trying to make desperate moves for the final positions in this Grand Prix as we reach the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix. On lap 34 or 36, we're in sector 2 of that lap, and now we just wait to see who's going to be the next one, who's going to be the bravest one, who's going to make the next move in this Grand Prix. Is it going to be at Keanu there going for 4th place, or is it going to be at Tia's Corman, who's currently in 3rd place but is gaining on Sergio Sabrino in front? Sergio Sabrino's losing time. Like to see all of his battling happening behind him to go down the start finish straight now. The Ferrari of Tia's Korsman is gaining, has the outside line going into the corner, but Sabrino comes out of nowhere and tries to challenge for the lead of the Grand Prix. It's going to slow Yeltsin down as he's having to defend against the V car, but then the 2 Ferraris behind.
So, Korsman still looking for it. We're on the penultimate tour of the race with Sergio Sabrino trying to get through, and Daniel and Thijs Korsman also trying to find a way through. This is about to get really, really exciting. On the last lap, they're not separated by anything. They're still all darting all over the road. Keanu Lita trying to look to the outside, trying to look to the inside. So, who is going to be making a late dive bomb? Is it going to be the 2 Ferraris? And Keanu Lita didn't have the chance because Parodi was also looking for it on his teammate as we make our way through the middle part of the lap, but it's all going to happen at the front of the field. The driver in 2nd has a penalty, but can Korsman get past the 2 is going to be the question. Can he get past the pair? They're battling behind as well, but this is going to be a crucial exit for Thijs Korsman. The gap is 5/10. As we come out of the last few corners now, we're about to go on to the 36th and last tour of a race that has been exciting all the way through, but it's about to see an exciting finish. Can Sergio Sabrino, he's got a penalty, but can he do it on track? Can he go the long way round? He can! He's got into the race lead. There was not a fight back by Daniel, but he'll try now and take it back towards turn number 4. Is Korsman going to be able to get close enough? But we ride on board with the McLaren, who will be inching closer and closer and closer, and he'll be going ahead as we go to turn 4, and he's moving past, and he's retaking the lead of this race, and it's only going to be dive bombs or a drag race from here.
Yeah, indeed. As we now go into the final stages of this Grand Prix, we've only got 2 sectors left to go, and it's looking very much like Daniel Yeltsin could be taking the win, but that's Sabrino going deep. It's going to give Yeltsin a little bit of breathing room to go through the final few corners. Tia's Korsman trying to make advantage of that little mistake from the V-Carb driver, but is it going to be enough? There's only a few corners left to go, and then a drag race down to the finish line. And now as we go through now, the McLaren of Yeltsin, I don't think anyone's going to catch him. 7/10 in the lead of the Grand Prix. It's going to be what happens behind. It's going to be now the drag race that we've been talking about for so long. What's going to happen now as we go through now? It's going to be 7 attempts for Yeltsin. He's losing time, but it's not going to be enough. Yeltsin crosses the line and wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's going to be Sabrino didn't cross the line. Sorry, had the penalty. So it's going to be Korsman taking second, third for Parodi, and then Keanu fourth. I think that was Zach Miles in fifth in the end.
Wow. Absolutely extraordinary stuff all the way till the end of the race. We had pass, repass and repass again, and it was a thrilling contest from lap 1 all the way down to lap number 36, and that's what Brazil delivers all the time. As we take a look at the drivers on the podium, Daniel able to get it, but it was a race that Mackie, that really could have belonged to anyone because it kept changing. We of course had the major moment that caused all of this chaos, which it was the top 3 at the time all making contact, battling for the lead.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an insane race to begin with, and then just ending it like that. Those final 6 laps where we were under, after the safety car, under those racing conditions once again. That first lap, the no DRS, and the DRS afterwards, it just spiced things up all the more. And Yeltsin there was able to take the win after a very impressive drive, just being able to keep Sergio Sabrino off for that long. If you want to go through the final results then.
Yep, indeed. So, it was Daniel who ended up the winner. Tyres Korsman in second, then Daniele Parodi, Keanu Litard, Zach Miles, Rihard in sixth. And a race, of course, with the strategy was all ruined for him. And he still ended up getting 6th place. No points, of course, but all for pride and all just getting practice. So, Lucas in 7th, Sergio Sabrino in 8th, Thomas Laminin, Gabrielli in 10th, Iswan Tomasi. And then we had Piana, Justin, Marcel, Valentino Labella, Ivan Santamaria, Giovanni, Linus Donovan, and Will Vichel, all retirements in this race on what was a very dramatic race there. So we're going to ask whether the top 3 do want interviews or not. In the meantime, we will bring you over to the camera screen on what has been a very exhausting race. Had a lot of action, especially during the last few laps where it all happened, all of the action, all of the chaos, and we had plenty of action with lots of dive bombs and a lot to look out for because there was moves going on absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, indeed. That was probably one of the best last laps of racing I've seen in a while in any league I've commentated. So that was just very impressive racing all throughout the Grand Prix. We had battles for the lead all throughout as well. It's unfortunate for Keanu, who I think was only able to manage third there in the end. I think we've got our first interviewee, Omi.
Yep, so I'll let you take it away and we'll switch over to our new interview screen. And yes, we've got a lot of new graphics as well. New game cycle with a lot of new stuff for you guys to look at.
Yeah, indeed. So, Daniel Yeltsin, congratulations on winning then the Brazilian PSGL social race. How does that feel? That seemed like some intense racing.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. Yeah, it was a pretty fun race. Of course, we won't be having this handling anymore after today. So I haven't practiced a lot. So I was excited to see how I was stacking up against the others. Yeah, quality pace wasn't quite what I hoped for. I just couldn't deliver a good lap when I needed. But in the race, I'd already decided, like before the race, I wanted to start on the hards and test the strategy. It's worked pretty well. Looked just good to win, and then of course after the safety car, everyone was on softs, and it was basically just a game to position yourself in the best way possible to take the win on the last lap. And yeah, we did it, so I'm happy.
Yeah, indeed. Very, very good race indeed. And that safety car looked like it potentially came out at one of the worst times for you. You looked to be having quite a commanding race, potentially the best strategy, those mediums clearly working on your car. Did you have any worries when that safety car came out that it might have messed up what you'd already planned?
Of course, it was not ideal for my own position since I was getting to the lead on fresher medium tires, which are softer tires, of course. So it wasn't ideal, but I was still confident in that my pace would be good. And then it's of course a little bit different because you're not gonna DRS gap or anything, so you have to do this play to DRS play, etc. And just find out how you're gonna of course, be P1 on the last lap when it matters. Of course, yeah, it will be. You have to take it into a different approach, but you have to adapt, of course, to situations when you are racing, and that's what we did. So happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. I hope the handling model change treats you better than what this handling model does. But yeah, have a good evening.
Yeah, see you.
And we've got our next driver, Mackie.
We do indeed. Daniele Parodi, welcome to the commentary box. How was that race for you? It seemed like intense battles at the front, and of course you had that incident that happened. So I can't remember if you had a Ferrari involved in it or just behind it, but that incident brought out the safety cars, certainly helped your race.
Yeah, hi everyone, and yeah, the race was pretty interesting. About the incident, yeah, it was pretty strange because Thomas just sent it, and I really didn't have much space to go, and I couldn't really see where he was. So I was lucky I didn't explode in the wall, like I just had some front wing damage, and also a safety car helped as well. And also this race demonstrated once again how like this game is, I don't know, the strategy is pretty useless because I started last. Also had some problems at the start because yeah, I didn't have a glove. I lost like 5 seconds to put it on, and I just did that, and I was just going the same with the 30 wear more. So like it's a bit of a step down from last game, and that's a bit boring as well because like you just do the same strategy, just do undercut, and the race is ended. But yeah, the safety car moved everything, like put something on the line, and yeah, just used the soft tire as much as I could. Just did some overtakes that I liked, and yeah, the race was interesting. I couldn't do quali because I had to do some things today, and I didn't practice, so I wouldn't be like absolutely shit. So yeah, but the race was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked fun to race. It was fun to commentate on. Congratulations on that podium there, and thank you for joining us for an interview.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, then. Would you like to bring Korsman in then?
Yep, we will drag T.S. Korsman in. So we'll drag our final driver in. Welcome to the commentary box to T.S. Korsman now.
Well, so again, another brilliant race there to watch. It was just brilliant to watch active because it was it looks a bit messy going into the safety car, and then it just seemed to all work out on the restart.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really recall everything that happened, but I remember just chilling for a while during the race. Very happy with my position, considering I thought I was gonna be like P16. Then at some point I lost the train, I think after the pit stops. So that was, but then the medium runners, or like the people who started on hards, they helped me get back to the train. And then all sorts of stuff of me. I have no clue, but it looked hilarious. So I hope you guys had fun watching that. It was very helpful for me.
I can assure you it was a very interesting moment to commentate on, and it certainly helped you, and that safety car certainly helped your race, and here you are as a podium sitter. Of course, that penalty for Sergio certainly helped you get onto the podium there, and helped everyone behind as well increase positions. But congratulations on your podium. Thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and I hope you have a good time on the new handling model that's coming out tomorrow.
Thank you.
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, Tyus Korsman. But yes, as you mentioned, new handling coming out tomorrow, so it will be a completely different situation when we do go racing next. Of course, we do have the PlayStation social races coming up on Monday, so that's when we will get to experience it. But of course, we do have a lot of other bug fixes and a lot of other things that are being sorted in the upgrades. Of course, you can join our Discord server, where we also have a little channel that has all of the game updates that come in and the patch notes, all that, so you can take a look at that. And of course, if you do want to drive for the upcoming season when signups do open, we don't have any information on that, but if you do of course want to join and race this season in one of the tiers, then of course do try and sign up. So join our Discord for that. Keep an eye on socials. You'll also find out on there, on Twitter, of course, well, now known as X, but we all like to still call it Twitter, and of course all of the other social media platforms, which you can see right below us as well. And of course give the YouTube a subscribe and like the live stream as well, and make sure you put on notifications so you guys know when we go live and when we go racing for the PlayStation social races on Monday. So that will be very, very exciting to see how they play out with, of course, the new handling around the same circuit. And if we go by what we've seen today here in Lobby 1 and Lobby 2, then it will be very exciting on Monday for them.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, I think, it from us, Omi. It's
Yep,
been a
final
fun
words?
one to commentate on. Brilliant race, and that was social race week 2, race 2, I think.
Yep.
For PC anyway. Of course, we had the PS ones on the Mondays as well. But thank you for having me, Omi.
Yep, no worries at all. It's been amazing being alongside you, and brilliantly done there as well. And the final thank you, of course, goes to the drivers for watching, and of course for driving, I should say, and then for you guys too watching as well. So we will see you on Monday when we go racing for the PlayStation tiers. Goodbye.